it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Welcome to our live video series. I'm working alone, so I'm working behind the camera and in front. Today we have official Canadian Kia EV6 product knowledge sell sheet. Now, we do these live videos regularly at 2 o'clock where we review a car. This is a bonus one at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm trying a new mic, so I want you guys to let me know if you can hear this mic. Some of my regulars will tune in. If you just want the content of this video, we're going to start the content at the 2-minute mark of the video. In the meantime, we're going to get set up, let our live audience join us for a second, and I'm going to refresh my page so I can make sure I see your live comments here as well. So if someone's watching who's a regular with us, just let me know if you can hear me. I'm sure you'll let me know if you can't hear me, but we do have a new setup here, and I want to make sure it works with the YouTube app that I have to use when I do these videos. So bear with me for a second. I'm about 5 seconds away from skipping my ad. There we go. Audio's good. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys, for letting me know. All right, we're skipping that ad. And okay, so those of you just joining us and waiting for that 2-minute mark, you can skip ahead if you're not live with us. If you are live, then I'll tell you what's going on. We do a live video from this studio. We've got a whole other area behind the cameras, a whole bunch of cars. That we do a live video. We go through vehicles in detail, but you're probably tuning in for the EV6. We have committed to giving you the most detailed information on this vehicle out of anybody on the internet. We happen to film in Canada, so today we're talking about the first official information we have from Kia Canada. So that's what we're going through today, and I'm going to rely on my watch here a little bit for when we're 2 minutes in. I guess we're about a minute away. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through this Kia sales sheet. They call it the sell sheet. And I'm going to tell you what's on it, but I'm also going to sort of interpret some things that I think I understand. And we'll talk about what we don't know yet so that we can keep tuning in. If you want to know more about the EV6, hit the subscribe button because I promise you we're going to continue to do videos like this and get you all the information you need. All right, 11:01, that's got to be a 2-minute mark. Let me just see where we're at here. Okay. Oh yeah, there we go. 2 minutes exactly, so here we go. Okay, so what we have in front of us, a couple people joining us, cool. What we have in front of us is the Kia sell sheet. I have it on paper here with some notes on it, and you are going to look at it with me. Oops, I got to go over to that right side page. There we go. We're going to look at it together here. So there we go. This is kind of what we get sometimes. I am under the impression and have been told by my bosses that I can put this online. Sometimes there's things we get that we can't put online. I'm just going to move my chair here so I can see the screen as well. So we get a lot of information here. Some of this is kind of boring stuff, maybe. EV6 is the blueprint of future products born out of our ambition to create bold, original, and inventive products, which is cool. But we're going to go through some of the facts. So a lot of this stuff you may know. We're going to start off with the maybe a little bit less interesting stuff, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this. So if you have questions, ask them, go ahead, and we'll go on from there. But the electric global modular platform is what this is built on. You're going to hear a lot about this E-GMP platform. It's listed up there on this sheet. So electric global modular platform, I'm going to stay on the same page here so I can read a little better here as well. That is our new platform. And basically what that is battery packs in the bottom of the car, and the platform can be widened or lengthened. It can be set up to run everything from a 3-row SUV to smaller cars. This vehicle is not as small as you think. We do have some information on measurements, so we'll talk about that as we get there. But this platform, including some of the crash structure and everything else, is built in there. So they are going to be it's going to be very easy to develop a new vehicle. You usually have to develop a whole lot of stuff. They have a lot of plans to throw a whole lot of vehicles. I think I heard something like 23 new vehicles could come out on this platform in the next few years worldwide. So there's just a lot planned for this platform. So again, eGMP platform, standard rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So of course, up until now, all of our EVs in Canada have been front-wheel drive. You're now going to see the base models go to rear-wheel drive, which if you're concerned about winter driving, of course, there's the all-wheel drive option. I will say that electric vehicles are very good with their traction control, a good set of winter tires. You'll probably be perfectly happy. You're going to hear a little bit about sports car-like. They're starting to emphasize the performance aspect of this car, and including compared to the Ioniq 5, because the Ioniq 5 that's coming out shares this platform, but it's really customizable. So sports car-like 0 to 100 kilometers an hour acceleration in 5.2 seconds, and that's based on an all-wheel drive model equipped with a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery. Some of this is going to get a little technical, but that's okay. We'll walk through what some of these things mean. So this is not the ultimate GT. So the way it's coming out is that GT model is going to come out future. So the pure top performance model is not what this is talking about. This is talking about vehicles that we're going to be able to buy first, and then there will be a performance model down the line. I don't think that's a secret, and that's at least what I'm expecting. That's the plan. Obviously, plans can change. And I should say carefully here that this is our information right now. They always kind of warn us, and I'm not sure where it is on this sheet, but they always warn us some of this information could change. So if it does, then it changes, but this is a pretty good guide. Sportier suspension tuning compared to the Ioniq 5, so they are pumping up the sportier suspension setting. And then they say up to 482 kilometers of estimated driving range, and that's based on the rear-wheel drive model equipped with a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery. Now, Kia's first generation of EVs, when they gave us a range number, my personal experience with them is you could reach that range, but sometimes in some conditions it was hard to do that. The Kia EV that I drive right now is a 2020 Kia Soul. That's their current generation from the Kona, the Soul, the Niro, all of those EV models. When Kia has rated range 3 seasons of the year, it is no problem to blow by those range ratings. So the first generation, yeah, it was accurate, sometimes tough to hit. Second generation, for the most part, most of us are getting far more than Kia's estimated range on our vehicles, at least 3 seasons of the year. And now they're saying 482. So we're going to find out what this next generation does compared to their ratings. If I had to guess that 482, I don't think it'll have any problem getting 525 or more in the summer, but that's me guessing. What they're saying is 482. Charging is a big thing too. A lot of people with EVs want to know more about charging. So we've got charging from 10% to 80% as quick as 18 minutes when it's connected to a 350 kilowatt charger. Those are not highly available this minute in Ontario and Canada, but you will see these, and because of that huge range number, you don't have to have them every 25 kilometers, right? You can spread those out in major centers, and you can sort of plan your trips around these chargers. So you will have the ability to do 18 minutes of charge time, or 10 to 80% in 18 minutes, and then a top-up charge of 100 kilometers of driving range is possible in under 5 minutes. So if you just are running out of charge and got to go to work, and you have one of these new 350 kilowatt chargers nearby, less than 5 minutes, or they say under 5 minutes, you can get about 100 kilometers of driving range. So that's a big thing. Most of us who own EVs are charging these in our garages, our homes overnight. So I would say most people are going to be charging 90% of their charging is going to be done at home, especially with that kind of driving range. And then you're going to end up, when you need to travel, have these fast chargers available. All right, so we're going to move next page. We're going to get a little bit more in depth. These are pretty cool. All right, pictures of the car. So these are the GT line wheels. Those of you that got in on the first 200 orders of the EV6, and just so you know, I am seeing your questions here. I'll get to them in a second. But those of you who got in the first 200 orders, these are the wheels we're going to see for our GT line models that were ordered. Aerodynamic alloy wheels, 19 inches are standard, 20 inches are available, and there's partial plastic trim aid that aids aerodynamics. You'll see this a lot on EVs. They're starting to make sure the wheels are aerodynamic. Some of them don't look great, and we've seen some Teslas here. We still use Teslas here at Brantford Kia all the time, and they don't look, some of them look kind of funny. These ones look pretty good, and they will have some plastic inserts just to make that aerodynamic, and 19 and 20 inch wheels. We'll talk about sizing of this car in a second. Prominent dark side trim, really kind of unique body line here. The side trim kind of comes up and it will go into the back area. We'll see the back in a second here. Aerodynamic side mirrors, we don't care so much about that. Segmented LED daytime running lights. You're going to see these in the new Kia Forte, a very reminiscent look of the Forte. Not the exact same, but that new look. They're calling their, what they used to call the Tiger Nose Grille, they're now calling this the Digital Tiger Face Grille. So you're going to see some commonality here. This is sort of our new design language that they're bringing out. And they call it the evolution of the Tiger Nose Grille. And the wraparound hood is just something that's kind of minor. I would never mention this, but a lot of times there's a line down here in the hood, and then you have the body, the fender. The hood comes right down basically to the fender and all the way around. Just gives it kind of a clean look. It's pretty cool. What else we got? Advanced radar sensor. I don't know what that means, if it's a whole lot different, so we're going to dig into some of those things. So when I say there's things we don't know, those are things I'm going to dig into. And yeah, moving on. Let's go to the next page here. And, oh, there we go. Rear dual spoilers. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, there's a spoiler up top, and this is a spoiler down here, so there's that. The LED taillights are pretty cool too. If you've seen these in videos already online, they just look really cool. They kind of light up in a cool way when you turn the car on. So really kind of unique looking stuff here. Reminiscent of our next generation Sportage. It's going to have this kind of styling as well. And I want to skip from the LED taillights to the translucent chrome turn signal. This is chrome. And for whatever reason, you've maybe seen that I don't know if it's the market or designers, they don't like putting amber signal lights on cars. The Niro used to have amber signal lights. and then they changed them to red signal lights. It's still the same wiring harness type thing, but they changed it to red. So for whatever reason, it seems like somebody, whether it's the market demand or the designers, don't like putting amber signal lights visible. These are going to be, as far as I know, amber signal lights. I expect that, but they're hidden behind a chrome trim. So we've seen this in Hyundai's products with the Tucson grille, the Santa Cruz grille, things like the Sonata, which we're going to have in here later today with their headlights. They're using their daytime running lights behind this sort of chrome trim. On this car, it's going to be a chrome-looking trim, and the pretty cool change to what I believe will be an amber light. And also lighting down here, there's 3 little kind of dashes. That's your reverse light. So it's kind of cool the way they put the bright LED reverse lights down low, essentially hiding them from the design altogether. So stretch wheelbase. We're going to talk about this a lot. The wheelbase on this car. So wheelbase, for those of you who don't know, is the center line of this wheel over to the center line of this wheel. And it's the distance between those two. It's the same wheelbase to the millimeter as the Telluride. So this is a large wheelbase, but then short overhangs. So short front bumper, short rear bumper. I expect it to be shorter than the Telluride. We have the specs in a second. But yeah, very long wheelbase. That contributes to a good ride, contributes to great handling. The wheels are pushed out to the edges sideways. If you look at the styling of it, you know, the big Coke bottle bulges and stuff. And then they're also pushed out of the edges. That's great for handling, great for ride comfort, and really great for interior space. When you don't have the wheels sitting in on interior space, that's a big thing. What else did I have here? Oh, the flush door handles. So these are flush. Tesla always has done this for a while. The Tesla's handles, they sort of pop straight out on a lot of their cars. These ones are going to be flush door handles, but they pop out upon unlocking the door. So basically the back side of the door handle will flip out like that, and you can pull it to open the door. So they're flush when you're driving, but they easily pop out. Floating roof design. This is a new design trend that we've not really not done, but it's sort of like the Kia Soul. They black out this area, they black out this area, and the floating roof design is just kind of a light they do. There is a charge door right back here. We'll show you that in the next slide or so. And I think that's all we wanted to cover. C-pillar, floating roof, sweeping LED lights. Yeah, okay, that's the basics. Yeah, okay, moving on. Now you can see the colors, finally. Again, so a couple things going on here. I am filming with a camera that I can't promise you will reproduce the color. I can see it on my screen here, so it's not terrible. But these colors are not going to look perfect from this screen to my camera through to your screen, but it gives you a basic idea. Down here we have a deep forest green. Doesn't seem to be green on my screen here very well, but you can see that deep forest green is a color I hadn't heard of before. Steel gray, interstellar gray, which is pretty cool. One of these is a matte color. Maybe it's on the next page, I can't remember. Yacht blue, haven't seen that. Glacier white. Glacier is a color that's on the Telluride right now. Excuse me while I turn on my motion sensor light for a second here. Keep them on. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm hidden in the corner here. But yeah, so we've got some of the Telluride colors here. Snow White Pearl is very common. Runway Red we have on our lot right now. Aurora Black. So Deep Forest Green. Interstellar Gray was just out on the Nero video we just did. So you can see that on video. And the Yacht Blue is something I haven't seen yet. Let's go around to the back side of these cars. Really can see that kind of LED lighting there. So there's that Steel Gray in the matte color. So Steel Gray matte. Snow White Pearl, Aurora Black. So just again, the different looks of the car. Again, these are the GT line wheels that we're expecting to see on those first 200 orders here. So kind of a cool look, and like I said, signals are kind of blended in there. Charge door is kind of hidden in a panel right over here. We'll get to that. But yeah, there's your basic colors. I can't say that they represent perfectly on camera, but there you go. All right, so here's where we get into what I'm looking for. And we're almost done here, guys. I only have a few more pages, so stay with me and we'll get to your questions here. The no extra cost color is the best color. Yeah, I don't know. Get the color you want. A lot of time our extra cost colors are like 200 bucks. I don't know. If you're spending the money that this is likely to be, get the color you want. Who cares about the couple $100 bucks if that's what it is. That's my opinion. All right, so this gives us a little bit of information here. So all of this stuff, if you've been researching this car before, you know a lot of this stuff. I'll give you just sort of my opinion on some of this stuff. The soft open charge door is smartly packaged under the tail light fender corner and features an animated LED charge level feedback display. That's where I like to see the charge lights. I think Rivian's got their truck. The entire front grille shows you state of charge. It's a big bright light. Sometimes at night, those large displays where they're using the car's lighting as displays, they can be a little distracting for neighbors or just, you know, not always nice. You want to see it right where you need it. So that's the charge display right there in the thing. We usually put ours in the windshield in the past. Moving it to the charge port, I don't have an issue with that. I think that makes some sense. So that's lighting in there to show you state of charge, that kind of thing. Vehicle to load is an evolution. So this is the situation where you can plug in and then plug another device into this. Tells us, well, let me just read it for you. As an evolution, so vehicle to load is an evolution, the EV charge cable that now allows the EV6 to supply 3.6 kilowatts of power to external devices via household plug outlet integrated into the handle. Now, you guys have all seen Sorrentos and other things with the little plug in the back, and they're very low power plugs. They do fit a standard plug. They can charge a laptop, that kind of thing. This can do real work. 3.6 kilowatts of power. I don't know the whole details, but my hope is that I have an electric barbecue. My hope is to do a live video of this and barbecue burgers up during our video, because I think it'd be fun. But you can see them doing all kinds of different things with this vehicle to load. This isn't going to be available on every trim line. It'll probably be on the higher trim lines. That's my guess. And but yeah, 3.6 kilowatts of power. They call it vehicle to load, or V2L. So anytime you see a V2L reference with the Kia EV6, that's what they're talking about. And you can charge things like your electric bike. So at the very least, I'll charge my electric bike when we do that. All right, heat pump. Now, I've always talked about the heat pump the way they've told me to talk about it. And I got criticized one time because they say I simplified it too much, so they're correct. Let's read what they say about the heat pump. Heat pump extends drive range by cycling environmentally friendly refrigerant under high pressure in a closed loop system to generate heat more efficiently than to draw from the battery. So kind of works like your air conditioning-ish in reverse. Cycles refrigerant. In the past, one of the ways they've said I could describe it, and I would assume it's similar here, is it also has, it can capture regenerative braking energy. So I don't know for sure that this car can do that, but they said one simple way to understand is when you have regenerative braking, it creates heat. They can capture that heat in a can, and it can throw that can out to you of heat when you turn the heat on. So it saves you from running just pure electric heat. Heat pump, of course, that's a proper definition of it, and that's how it works. But I would assume that it can also recapture regenerative braking, but I don't know for sure. Over here, bottom corner, remote smart parking assist. If you've watched our videos regularly, you've seen me with the Hyundai Tucson a week or two ago on the key fob. I could hold down a button and the vehicle could move straight forward, hold down the other button and the vehicle could move straight backwards. We demonstrated it here in this room with the Tucson Ultimate, I believe it was, the top-of-the-line Tucson. Like I said, about a week or two ago, you can see that in one of our live videos. This is going to have the same thing. You're going to be able to hold a key fob button out, pull it out. So if you're in a tight parking spot, you can pull it out and put it back in, those kind of things, in your garage, those kind of things. Lighting back here, again, we're talking about this tail lighting sort of dashed look. These chrome areas you can't see on your screen very well, but that is chrome, that's your signal light. So it's kind of, again, it's eye-catching, it's unique, it's going to stand out. And then the rotary gear shift knob. We have these in our current EVs, definitely higher end styling here. Again, it's not something you're gonna be able to see. There's some nice ribs on there. And they say switch with a premium look and enhanced tactile feel. And it absolutely is. You can just see that's a real evolution of what we're doing right now. I wouldn't say ours feel cheap, but they just look average. This looks like a high-end turbine. Looks like a machined piece. It looks pretty cool. So that's coming. All right, a couple more pages here. We're going through as quick as we can, but I do want to make sure I'm giving you all the information that I can. So what do we got? Two, maybe three more pages. All right, next page here. Come on, camera. There we go. All right, so a lot of things we like. This is all stuff that's familiar. In the front, you've got large display screens, 12.3-inch display screens. We know we're getting this in the new Kia Sportage, at least on the higher trim levels. Again, we haven't seen Canadian information for that, but the American release, or the overall North American release, showed us these screens. The only car we have this in right now is the Kia Carnival EX Plus here in Canada and the SX model. So SX Prestige if you're in the States, where we have a 12.3-inch display behind the steering wheel, and we have a 12.3-inch display beside. So visually, it's going to look like one. And they are mentioning these are curved displays. One of the benefits of a slightly curved display is some of that reflection, instead of being a flat panel that just reflects everything out. You know, if you have a flat panel like this TV screen and the light comes in like this, it reflects directly out. But if you curve it a little bit, you know, if the whole panel would be glare, now all of a sudden less of it's glare. So that's a benefit of a curved display. Obviously, they're going to promote it as driver-centric. So they say, new one-piece panoramic curved display houses dual 12.3-inch vivid screens with a coating applied to reduce the impact of bright sunlight, therefore eliminating the need for a cluster hood. All of our gauge clusters have a covering over them for shadow. We've seen this in every car ever. Hyundai has started not doing that on, for instance, the Tucson and the Santa Cruz. And now they're starting to take away the hood. And it really does work well. You don't need that shade over top. These screens are perfectly visible. Here, they call it steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Allow the driver to adjust the amount of kinetic energy recapture on the fly. They call them paddle shifters. I call them paddle shifters. What they really do is you can adjust the amount of regeneration the car does. In other words, the one pedal driving, you can adjust that on the fly. Tesla doesn't have this. Kia EVs do, Hyundai EVs do. It's really good. Those of us who drive Kia EVs on a daily basis really like the ability to adjust that regenerative braking on the fly. If you've never driven one, you don't understand the benefit of it, but basically it allows you to capture that regeneration, change it on the fly. So they still have that. It's a really cool feature that I think a lot of people want in a lot more EVs. They're going to continue it. They've heard us. And then you also have the steering wheel mounted drive modes. So instead of having to search down on this panel somewhere, drive modes can be switched on the steering wheel. And again, if you've never driven an EV, drive modes are really different. Like, let's say on a gas car, you have 3 drive modes and it's kind of like this is your performance range. On my EV, it's kind of like this. The eco mode's down here, feels like a strong car because you got so much torque. The normal mode feels quite strong, and the sport mode is silly. I have 291 foot-pounds of torque in my Kia Soul EV, and when you put it in that sport mode, it just feels so torquey because it's got the power. So having it on the steering wheel I really like because I do play with that on my vehicle. Passing power, all kinds of things. It really changes the character of an EV more so than a gas car. So putting it on the steering wheel, having it on the fly adjustability is great. Large hatchback with fold down seats. One thing I want to point out with those fold down seats, cars used to do this, European cars used to do this. I think Volvo used to do it. I can't remember who all used to do it. But you have the 60/40 fold down seat, but you also have a pass through in the center seat, kind of like a ski pass through. If you are a hockey person in Canada, I am not. But if you are, you'll be able to throw your sticks through that pass-through. It's not a big pass-through, but certainly you can have the seats up. 60/40 seats, you always had to fold the one, so you can have both outboard seats up and fold down essentially the center armrest and the pass-through in there. Put your hockey sticks through, probably your skis through, that kind of thing. So you have the ability to do that when those seats are there. So there we go, there's that. There is a frunk or a front trunk. Here, it looks very small, and that's because it is. I would recommend putting charge cables in there. They've got some running shoes as an example. This front trunk is quite a bit smaller with the dual motors. If you have all-wheel drive, they have a second motor out front. That's going to take up some space in that front area. So depending on the style of the car on this platform, and this one is, of course, a sporty lower hood aerodynamic design, you're going to have a little bit less space. So if you really need a front trunk, rear-wheel drive is going to give you larger. Somewhere I think I read 40 liters. That's not official Canadian information, but it's a 40-liter difference, I believe, in the two. So again, don't quote me on that, but I did think I saw that. So you have space under the hood for small storage stuff and larger stuff if you have the rear-wheel drive. LED interior mood lighting is also coming in the car, which is kind of what we expected. All right, inside materials. 100 water bottles are the equivalent. So the recycled materials used in the interior is equivalent to 100 empty plastic water bottles. So they're plastic water bottles or plastic things, recycled materials in that front, in the interior, excuse me. Augmented reality heads-up display. I kind of have an idea how this works. They put stuff on the screen. I want to show it to you in detail. So we're going to have that here when we get the vehicle in person. But they have an augmented reality heads-up display, basically a new, more advanced heads-up display that kind of shows you exactly where to turn, pointing at the road. So that'll be pretty cool. I have no other information, Canadian information, on it other than this paragraph right here. So they call it augmented reality is an evolution of a traditional heads-up display that dynamically projects information on your windshield in a more intuitive way. Oops. Hey, look at that. It's got angry. Okay, so let's see. We've got an issue with our, oh, this is not going to be good. Okay. So how are we going to do this? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this on me. I had a little issue here, so bear with me for a second here as I get my camera disconnected. All right. What I'm going to have to do is hand hold it like this. Can you guys still hear me clear enough? It's going to be a little shaky. I do apologize. I had a little display, and I didn't bring a backup with me today. When I have a camera mount, it doesn't matter what happened. Who cares? All right, so what we're looking at over here is, yeah, there we go. Tim's going to help me out in a second. Actually, Tim's here. He's going to flip the camera around with me. All right, Tim's hand is there. You have to hold this because I got the microphone attached.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah, I got it.
And your hand's in the way, too. Whoop.
And I dropped it?
Hand's in the way. You got to flip it around the other way. I'm using the main camera now. Bear with us, everyone. There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. All right, so we've got augmented reality infotainment system. So we're almost done here, so apologize for Tim's shaky hands, or he can just set it that. There we go. Integrated controller works with capacitive touch. So we've seen this. So basically, we've got our 12.3-inch display cluster in the center of the screen. Below that is going to be climate information, I believe radio information. Some of those buttons that we see in our cars right now, there's going to be a selectable switch to switch between some of those things. So you're gonna have a clean view with the selectable switches down in here, and that's again below the entertainment system, so you can have just your map or just your climate buttons there, or just your radio buttons. And a lot of us never use the map and navigation buttons unless we need to, so they'll be your radio buttons or your climate buttons, and they can be switched. So again, that's below the screen. Over here, the relaxation seats. So my wife saw this in one of our videos. I was just showing her some things. She's like, why would I want that? Forgive our shaky camera person. There we go. So why would I want that seat there that's reclining? Well, keep in mind, even if you fast charge, it's 18 minutes of charge time. So sometimes to just stay in your car and just relax when you stop for a charge time, 18 minutes is at 0 to, or I think it was 10 to 80% or 0 to 80% charge time. So having seats that are just really comfortable to relax in is useful in an EV. Again, recycled material they're talking about, and we do have here what they call the sporty, luxurious black suede with vegan leather trim. So I assume the suede is also vegan. They're going to go back to, we went from, in our first generation of EVs, to vegan leather. We moved into leather, and now it looks like we're going back to vegan leather again. Last page here, actually second last page, whoops. Oh, that is the last page, there we go. Last page here is just a lot of the stuff, so let's go over some of the specs that I think matter to us. Battery is a 58 kilowatt hour for the short range vehicle. The long range is 77.4 kilowatt hours. The range estimates, they finally give us Canadian range estimates. 360 on the smaller battery for a rear-wheel drive, 482 on the rear-wheel drive with the big battery. If you add all-wheel drive, you're going to lose a little bit of range to 442. And again, we talked about some of these range numbers. I expect some of them to, the way Kia's been doing things, to probably exceed those, but that's just my expectation. We'll see what happens. Level 2 charge times is 5 hours, so just under 6 hours, and just over 7 hours, depending on the two batteries that you're doing, and that's level 2 charge time. Maximum charging capability is 180 kilowatts on the smaller battery, 240 on the larger battery. Level 3 charge time, so this is when you're going to a traditional level 3 that we have today. It's going to be 63 minutes. It doesn't say what percentage that is, 0 to 80 or anything else, so we are missing a little bit of information there. Just what I have is 63 minutes on the 50 kilowatts, which is what I use here in our, actually that would be 100 or level 3. And then 73 minutes on the larger battery, and then that's at 18 minutes. So this is likely 0 to 80% because the 18-minute charge time we know on the 350 kilowatt, which is a significantly faster charger, we have 0 to 80% in 18 minutes. So this 63 and 73 minutes is probably 0 to 80% as well. Horsepower, 167, not a whole lot, but much more than our 139 that, for instance, I have in my car. And then we go to 225 and 320. We know in the future, although Canada hasn't announced it yet, we're going to be looking at that 525 horsepower on the GT line, but that'll be a much later release, probably the fall. Who knows when it comes out? That's my guess. Torque numbers are what matters in an EV. 258, 258. So interesting, on the 58 kilowatt hour and on the 77 kilowatt hour, if you get rear-wheel drive, you're getting 258 foot-pounds of torque. Less than the 291 I get in mine, so more horsepower but less torque, which is probably a perfectly fine mix, and rear-wheel drive so you can actually put the power to the ground. All-wheel drive models have 446 foot-pounds of torque. That's a ton. Acceleration, 8.5 seconds, 7.3 seconds, and 5.2. So rear-wheel drive, small battery, 8.5 seconds, 7.3 on the larger battery, and 5.2. You have a 2,000-pound towing capacity, and just the measurements. We're within a centimeter of the width of a Sorento. Actually, we'll give you the length numbers, 4680 and 4695 for the GT line. What's the difference? Probably some spoilers and that kind of thing. We know we have a lip spoiler on the front of the GT line. So within a centimeter of the width of the Sorento, height is 1545. I don't know what that is in inches. You can Google that. We talked about the wheelbase, the exact same as a Telluride. Legroom, front, rear, everywhere is very, very good. Passenger volume is 2,889. Who knows how they calculate that? We'll do that when we jump in the car. The front headroom with the sunroof, of course, is with and without, so you can see there's a little bit of difference there, but all very good numbers. Cargo capacity, 1,517 liters. That's a ton. So there we go. I'm going to get Tim to hold the camera for just another minute here. He's probably loving me. What have we got here? We're going to go through your questions really quickly here. Tim, what are we at on that on top corner time-wise? Oh, we're almost at the half an hour, so we're going to go through this really quickly here. Too bad, yeah. So we've got Ioniq 5 is also offering some comfortable seats. We've seen that. There'll be different styles. So we're going to compare those two on this channel, of course. It's nice that Kia decided to include the smaller battery version. This probably means they're considering getting access to the federal EV rebate with a lower price. This is the big question. So that's my friend Andre with Evolution. We are not sure on pricing yet. That's one thing we're waiting for. There's, of course, in Canada, you got to hit under $45,000 to get that $5,000 rebate. I'm sure they're looking into that. They have to decide how they want to do that. So that's something that we as a dealer would like to see them hit, but we don't have pricing yet. So we'll see what happens, and that is about it. Let me just see, the 800 volt charging and the tow weight, two big things to switch. Yeah, so you're switching from the EV Nero to the, or the E Nero to EV6. Yeah, towing capacity we now have. And I think that's about it. We're going to leave it right there, guys. So thank you for watching. If you want to know more about the EV6, the Ioniq 5, everything new electric from the Kia Hyundai world, this is the channel to subscribe to. If you're looking to buy an EV6, I'm going to be blunt, guys. I've had so many questions since this came out. There's a lot of people that don't know their stuff. They don't do their homework. I spend days and nights researching this. If you're buying an electric car in Ontario, buy from us. It makes it easier for you. I can promise you that. We're really experienced at some of this stuff. If we don't know, we'll find out, and there's a lot of stuff that we do know. We won't mislead you, certainly not intentionally. We'll do our best to give you the information, and as we find out more, we'll get you more. So we're going to leave it right there. I want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll talk to you again live at 2 o'clock later today. I'm going to get Tim to hit the end video button, and we'll wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. All right, thanks.